It would be very easy to mistake EA for something like the Flood from Halo, a parasite, attaching itself to something already successful, assimilating and assuming its form, but ultimately destroying it in the process. And that's where the comparisons end, because EA doesn't assimilate. It assumes control. It dominates, it indoctrinates, and it uses a system that it applies meticulously, methodically, and over time and time again they've used that system to harvest entire studios and their IPs of every last drop of respect, reputation, and prestige. Their goal is nothing short of annihilating any evidence that anything existed there before they did.
The Reapers.
So why do this? Why buy out a company that can make Star Wars games and say, screw that man, nobody likes Star Wars? Probably for the same reason you'd pass on Baldur's Gate 3 screaming, nerd! The answer is the question, who are these games made for? EA didn't purchase BioWare to make BioWare games. They purchased BioWare to make EA games, for EA gamers. They bought BioWare so they could run EA developers through the company and refer to them as ex-BioWare developers afterwards. And by doing that, they can imply that the BioWare standard now applies to anything with BioWare's name attached to it, including the ex-developer tag. Purchasing the company bought them the critical acclaim, the fan acclaim, and the studio acclaim, and they did so with every intention of pulling a bait and switch. The end game was always going to be attaching BioWare's name to casual games for casual gamers, the type of people who buy the new thing because it's the new thing from BioWare. Unfortunately for fans, EA doesn't view reputation as currency, it views it as a finite resource, one that's to be exhausted, used, and consumed. What's left of old BioWare is a hollowed out husk, surrounded by scavengers looking to add the word BioWare to their resume while it still has some value. While the culture and recruits at new BioWare embrace the idea that greatness only exists in BioWare's past, and that the current IPs are only worthy of the respect of being juiced for their last dying breaths. They do not respect the lore, the culture, or the fans. They are here for their own reasons, and when you don't respect the things that I just mentioned, what you wind up producing is unintentional self-parody.
Please, I will tell you what you want to hear.
You do that?
Whoa! Human mating calls.
Whisper that softly in my ear.
Quick, think about us having sex.
Whoa!
So this kind of stuff is really only possible once your base product has been watered down beyond all recognition. Pride of work and respecting the audience get thrown out the window along with respecting the product when your only concern is taking the role so you can be referred to afterwards as an ex-BioWare developer, and EA have produced a lot of those. The work culture shifts towards an attitude that says nothing is forbidden and everything is permitted. And if leadership is unwilling to correct that to preserve the legacy of the company, you can kiss your reputation goodbye along with any remaining utility you might have left in the eyes of the EApers. The biggest surprise is that BioWare have been allowed to exist for this long, which doesn't sit well with me because if EA is still making enough money to justify what they're doing, they will continue to do it. A post that I saw recently on social media was questioning why we were even fighting dragons in the first place. Because dragons are beautiful creatures who've done nothing wrong and we should be fighting to protect them instead. I get the feeling there's an EA executive jizzing in his pants over that because it means the fans they have now don't even remember the original Dragon Age or why they were fighting dragons in the first place. So I have no expectations for the next Mass Effect. I have no expectations for BioWare going forward at all. I feel as though the company is about to be destroyed and we're about to see the EApers return back through the relay.